If you know that I have less than 2 years left to change our financial destiny, what would you do? Stay still and wait for a clear signal, or step in when people are confused? The financial world right now, it's no different than a fast boat. It's not waiting for AI. Whoever gets there at the right time gets there first, and you just stand there and watch. Waiting for the perfect time, it's just the train disappearing. With a sigh. Let's look at the last cycle. As the AI wave emerges, fast people invest in new technology, multiply the property 5 times, tenfold. When the property adjusts, who captures the moment? The collection is ready for the recovery wave. On the contrary, not a few people just get down. The market has peaked. Wrong investment is only wrong in the slow one. And it's probably never been the time frame that mattered, as current from 202 years to 2016. It's the golden window of the decade. A brief period of time, but can decide where you're going to be. In 20310, is the beneficiary of the achievement, or the person who looks back with 2 words like, don't let the future. It's where you tell the story of what you missed. Let it be where you tell the story you dared to start. How is it? So in today's video, you'll discover 8 strategic investments before 2016 that the contemporaries are quietly gathering every day. It's not just an opportunity for property growth, it's also a way to protect capital. Keep your faith up and stay 1 beat ahead of the market. And if you think you'll only hear things everyone knows, then stay. Because behind every investment is a new perspective. Lessons never told. And also specific action strategies, so that you don't just understand. It starts right after this video is over. And leave a comment below if you feel any of my views you are planning to invest today. Let's start now. The number 1 investment: artificial intelligence and automation. Did you notice? I've seen everything lately. Artificial intelligence creeps into our lives. From the phone you hold in your hand, to the video captions Facebook, TikTok. Both work email and learning apps. Everywhere there are traces of some kind of wisdom, are quietly supporting, or even replace people. And what's interesting is, it's replacing all the jobs that we used to believe. It can't be ugly. Writing poetry is a matter of feeling. Now, I can do poster design. I draws in 5 seconds of business planning. AI has helped people order faster than the boss. The truth is, AI is no longer a science fiction movie. It's becoming an engine. New growth of the economy. It's like the internet in the 1990s. And if you're between the ages of 18 and 40, then you're at the right time. The right time to catch it. It's like the old days when that AI said, the future will order food with computers, and people laughed because it didn't make sense. Now you can order milk tea with the app. Before I could blink, the courier knocked on the door. Change happens silently but extremely quickly. And AI is the next big wave. You look around, you will see GPT chat is writing articles, foreign language learning support, write a job application letter. Midjourney creates incredible magical paintings. Tesla controls cars with AI. Amazon uses AI to manage its inventory, demand prediction, and super fast delivery. Right in Vietnam, VinFast has also integrated AI Assistant into electric vehicles, so you can control it with your Vietnamese voice. This leads to a big question. If AI is that close, make so you're a young person. Want to invest, value-creating startups can take advantage of it. The answer is not to wait until popular AI that's taking action before the crowd realize. Like every revolution before it, the first one will be the biggest beneficiary. There are at least 3 types of investments you can start today. The first is to invest in stocks of AI hardware manufacturing companies. Names like NVIDIA, AMD, or TSMC are no strangers. They are the ones who produce it. Brain for AI system, powerful chips, processing billions of calculations per second. In the era of AI development, shovel seller, chip is the fastest person to get rich, like in the gold rush. The second is to invest in AI platform companies, where to make tools that billions of people use every day. OpenAI with GPT Chat, Google with Gemini, Microsoft with Copilot. These are the names that are building the intellectual infrastructure. Every time you use one of their AI products, they have revenue. And according to economic law, the company that owns the platform has market share. Third, and also the most fertile land, it's the application businesses. AI into traditional professions, health, finance, agricultural production, education. Let's try to imagine. Hospitals use AI to read X-ray movies, help doctors diagnose faster. Banks use AI to detect credit card fraud. Education company develop a personalized learning system for each student, and many more. You invest in companies that use AI well. You're putting your faith in the future of that industry. But don't make the mistake of just listening to AI. You should jump into investing now. It's a mistake that many people make. They run under the crowd effect, not knowing what the company does, where the technology really is, what's the potential, and that's the swing. Buying shares at too high a price, then sell off when the news cools down. Investing without understanding is different from playing the lottery. So before we get down to money, think that company is creating AI or just? Do consumers have a real commercial product? Or just experimenting? What percentage of technology do you understand about? But AI isn't just a place to invest your money. It's also a place where you can invest your wisdom, because someone knows how to use it. The right AI will be more productive, more creative, more effective, and so there's more opportunities to make money. If you know how to use ChatGPT to plan an advertising campaign in 30 minutes, instead of 3 days, you know how to use AI to make data reports, analysis of market trends, or find out inside potential customers. You don't have to wait for the company to raise your salary. You're upgrading your own self-worth. And in this era, personal value is the greatest asset. You might not be investing in AI stocks right now, but you can invest in your ability to understand and operating AI. And the AI that gets the tool earlier than that person always has the advantage. Because money always flows to where it's most productive. And if you become a more efficient worker, 5 times thanks to AI, it doesn't make any sense. You don't get 5 times higher income in the future. Finally, don't wait until AI is ubiquitous to get started. Because at that time you became a later learner. Run, follow, and buy back opportunities from other people's at a much higher price. For take action today. It's not to get ahead of technology, it's about getting a better version of you. In the future, investment number 2. Clean energy stocks. The next investment that you should seriously consider before 2016 is the clean energy stock. We're living in the midst of a silent transformation, but intense. If you notice that gasoline cars are disappearing in Europe, electric cars flood the streets of China, and big car companies from Germany, both Japan and the United States have announced, the future is smokeless. No gasoline, no oil. When the world moves to electric cars, what's going to happen? The answer is simple. The AI that owns the electrical infrastructure wins. That infrastructure includes battery touch, solar, wind power charging, hydrogen technology, energy storage. It's all a big pie that governments are pouring money into at breakneck speed. From USAU to Vietnam, a number of policies have been and are being implemented to promote clean energy. And when the state opens its pockets, then the market reacts. Rossau, shares of green energy companies, instant green literally. In just a few years, Tesla's stock price, Venus face, and many funds at energy has increased sharply thanks to the inflow of money. The point is that this is just the beginning. The biggest wave is yet to come. And that means this is the best time for you to enter. when things are cheap and there's plenty of room for growth. But invest in clean energy. It's not just about buying Tesla stock and praying to God. There are more investments than you think. The first is the battery business, the heart of every new energy system. There's no battery, electric cars can't run, solar power can't be stored. And of course, just to watch. Companies like Kettle, LG Energy Solution, or even solid-state battery startups, they are being hunted by investors as a treasure. And then there's the solar panel companies. Wind turbine or energy storage system. You don't have to remember the company name. Just know that every time a government makes a decision, support renewable electricity is these businesses clapping in the belly. Then there's the startups that build charging stations. This is an extremely potential field, especially in emerging markets like Vietnam. Imagine each apartment, car park, malls all need to touch the electric car charger. The more people who buy cars, the more they need a charging point. And got that system first. That person creates an infrastructure advantage. It's like capturing the most beautiful corner of the new age. Also, if you're not ready to pick individual stocks, you can invest in funds. F Clean Energy. For example, ICL and Ortan. These are simulation funds, stock basket of the top 10 global energy companies. Help you diversify your risk and still enjoy the full trend. But you don't always see the word clean energy. It's a conditional investment. A very common mistake is just look at big brands like Tesla and ignore the small companies that are at the breaking point. While in fact, it's these small businesses, when it's successful and there's a leap back, which is capable of multiplying 10 by 20 assets within a few years. For example, if you invest in Tesla, you've missed the most exciting growth phase today. But if you discover the new Tesla, a touch charger manufacturing company for Southeast Asia, or a battery plant in India, you're standing in front of an opportunity, one step ahead of the crowd. It's like the early days of the internet. People who are rich, it's not because they bought Yahoo stock. When it's in the paper, it's because they see Amazon, Google, Facebook since they were a startup. History may not repeat Wei Chang, but it always leaves a mark for the discerning. One more thing that few people mention. Investing in clean energy isn't just about making money. It's a way for you to invest into the future of the planet itself. Every dollar you put in a renewable energy company, as part of your contribution to a more sustainable environment, the climate is more stable. Your children have a chance to live in a more breathable world. There are not many investments bring both financial and moral benefits, but clean energy has both. So if you're looking for a place to drop money before 2 years 0216, take it seriously. Related companies or investment funds to renewable energy. Don't just because you can't see the charger at the top of the lane. I think the future is far away. Remember, investing is not about looking present and reacting. It's looking to the future and acting. And finally, you want to be the one sitting in the charging station to charge the car, or who owns the charging station itself. Investment number BA. Global logistics and supply chain. There is no successful online sales if the customer does not arrive at the right time. It sounds simple, but that's the saying. Understand the importance of the logistics industry. It's also known as the lifeblood of modern commerce. You can place an order for 1,000 products live. But if the logistics unit loses the goods, 5 days late delivery, or the wrong size, 1,000 complaints will turn into 1,000 complaints. In the digital economy, e-commerce is the head, but logistics is the leg that gets the goods to the destination. And that leg, if not fast enough, the whole startup machine will stumble. We're living in an era that the global supply chain is reorganizing. After a series of events in the history of the epidemic, US-China trade war, container shortage crisis, and recently the trend of friend sharing, That is, large corporations want to move the factory to a friendlier and more stable country. And Vietnam is no accident. It's becoming one of the stops favorite in the new supply chain map. Corporations from Korea, Japanese, the US, and Europe are expanding production in Vietnam. But they didn't just bring machines and technology, but also the huge demand for logistics, warehouse transportation, storage forwarding management software. And when demand increases, of course, investment opportunities also increase. Let's look at what's happened over the last few years back here after the pandemic freeze. E-commerce platforms such as Shopee, Lazada Tiki is not only heavily invested in marketing, it's also pouring money into the warehouse delivery system, vehicle feeder, and order optimization technologies. Logistics companies are so trans. Gemadeptilogy silently expanding the warehouse. Increase the number of containers. Upgrade the operation management system. No need to make noise. They just benefit every day from the online shopping boom and import and export. If you want to invest in this area, there will be some small ideas for you. One is logistics stocks. Many large companies in this field listed on the Vietnam Stock Exchange, and it's in a pretty solid position. You can look closely at the stock codes. There's a good base factor, especially those with ports, cold storage or multimodal transport system. Second, invest in cold storage and factories. Sounds like a factory, but it's an extremely safe investment if you understand the market. When food companies are pharmaceutical products or agricultural exports that need to store goods, they're not buying the warehouse, they're renting it back from you. And you don't have to do much other than wait for the money to come back every month. The A is industrial real estate. If you pay attention, while residential real estate is at a standstill, the price of land in industrial areas is still rising because the housing can simply be built, but the factory can't stop production. Areas such as Long Hau VSIP Bac Ninh, balloons are a gold mine if you get down at the right time. 4 is startup transport technology. Remember, Grab Goyak Berahimov was a logistics startup. There are companies that start with just a few drivers and an ordering app. It's become a $1 trillion business. If you find a startup, solve the last leg delivery problem better, faster, lower cost, then you've found a diamond. But be careful with a mistake that's easy to make. Not properly assess the floor plan. There are many people who invest in building warehouses, buying land as logistics, but chose an area with no roads, not near the port, no connection or a highway. The results did not arrive. Guests do not rent, and the project lies dormant in nostalgia. Remember, in logistics, location is everything. Invest in cold storage in a place as hot as a fire. If there's no trucking, it's zero. So before we get down to money, read the area plan carefully. Infrastructure projects are underway, and major shipping routes. If you are not sure, observe where container trucks come in frequently. That's where the money is flowing. The biggest lesson from logistics is, let's follow the flow of goods. Where is the money going? And if you're just guessing mines or investing on a hunch, it's easy to get lost in empty containers. And the other interesting thing is, investing in logistics doesn't just make you money. It also helps you become a part in the country's growing ecosystem. Every time an FDI firm opening a new factory in Vietnam, a new opportunity opens up to you. More cars, more goods, more storage to rent. So, you want to stand outside this stream and watch, or you'll put one foot in and let the money flow by the goods. Investment number 4. It's a digital infrastructure. Every time you surf TikTok, video call for lovers, send email report, or simply find it, good coffee shop recently on Google. So you're creating data. And that data doesn't just come out of nowhere, then disappear into nothingness. It's transmitted through fiber optic satellite touch broadcasting. It's stored in giant data centers, deep in the ground or on the cool highlands, where hundreds of thousands of servers run non-stop. Say no exaggeration. Today's data is the oil of the 21st century. And the digital infrastructure is the pipeline system to transport that resource. You may not see it, can't touch it, can't check in with it, but it's decided for the most part the technology you use every day. So at Sao Digital Infrastructure, it's become one of those worthwhile investments most before year 2016. The answer lies in Africa's growth rate. Everything related to online, from learning, leisure work to healthcare shopping. It's all digitized. And as more and more people go online, the technology companies, the more we need to expand the infrastructure to serve the traffic, secure storage. Did you know that YouTube alone, processing more than 720,000 hours of newly uploaded video per day? And that's just a foundation. This is explained because Sao companies like Equinix, the largest data center operator in the United States, has been steadily rising its stock price for years, despite market fluctuations. They don't produce videos, do not make apps, do not sell phones, but they're the ones that rent out the internet. Where other companies exist, they must depend to operate the service. In Vietnam, you may have heard of Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and the big guys are quietly preparing to invest billions of dollars to build data center in Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Da Nang. Vietnam is not just an internet market, it's also the gateway to Southeast Asia. The region is growing digitally, strongest in the world, and as these data centers grow, they'll pull according to the need for security, cooling power, operation engineer, and of course dedicated real estate. It opens up a lot of investment opportunities, even if you are a private investor. It's totally possible to participate. So where can you start? One is a technology stock that specializes in hydrocarbons. Outside Equinix, there are also companies like Digital Realty, or network equipment providers, server cooling system for data center. This is the base layer of the digital economy. When others are trading NFT or run TikTok ads, then these businesses have been quietly collecting money. Rent a server every month. 2 are data transmission startups. In Southeast Asia, a lot of startups are solving the problem: high-speed internet transmission, optimized cable glands, or data processing in real time. These companies may not be well known, but when you get an infrastructure contract with a carrier or international company, then the valuation can be increased 10 times in just one round. Capital. BA is a telecommunications satellite. This is a field that's quietly booming again. SpaceX by Elon Musk has overwhelmed the world with the Starlink system, but it's also pulling the wave. Smaller companies offer mini satellites, sewing internet coverage in remote areas. If you've ever heard of wireless internet from heaven, then that's the opportunity at the very top. 4 is the 5Gs and then 6Gs. Carriers are racing to expand their broadcast infrastructure, upgrade the terminal. And as the G year becomes the new norm, companies that provide broadcast equipment, network operating system, technical cabinet will be the winner. But you also need to be careful with a trap. Very popular, many people just invest in content that forgot about the content infrastructure. You can see an AI startup is hot, a social networking platform that's going viral. But most of them, this type of company, all rely on outsourced infrastructure to operate. And when the crisis happens, AI charges infrastructure. That person lives well. I burns money to increase users. He is the easiest to leave. Like the gold rush of old, who rushed to dig for gold. But the people who really get rich are the pickaxe sellers. Shovel sale. And in this digital age, the national shovel is the digital infrastructure. Invest in technology. It's not just about choosing a company. It's about choosing the AI that's holding the platform, operating the whole system, and more later. Real value will flow more and more to the group of businesses that operate the pipeline, instead of the ones that just run on momentary attention. So if you ever regret, I didn't buy land when it was cheap, now may be the time to buy digital land. Where the data flows will go over the next 10 decades. Investment number of years of strategic real estate. Rich people keep the land even though they do technology, finance, or production. Why is that? Maybe because of the only thing that people can't produce anymore. You can build a car, an app, or even a new cryptocurrency. But you can't create more land around Saigon or land near a large industrial park. So the land always hold a special place in all long-term asset classes, especially those who know the value of time. After strong adjustment period to OTA Vietnam real estate market as a field, after a storm of weeds swept away deflated bubbles, and investors, according to herd psychology, is temporarily silent. But if you look closely, you will see this is the time to collect goods at a rare price. When the seller is in a hurry, the buyers are still scared. This market has not increased yet, but every great wave begins in silence. Remember year 2, not 16. At that time, the land around Ho Chi Minh City, from the peaceful raft house to Kukai, it's only a few million square meters. Who dares to go far to buy and sold lots? The fields and grass are 2 Price multiplied by 3 by 4. Someone sold a house in the city. Someone to keep rent-a-car park workshop. 10 million a month without going to work. This story repeats itself many times. Not only in Ho Chi Minh City but also Hanoi, Da Nang, Can Tho. And it's usually the early winners, when people are suspicious. So if you're considering real estate, what are the most strategic investments today? The first is coastal land. But the periphery, that doesn't mean it's far from the border. Choose places from the center, less than 40 minutes of travel. It has a good traffic connection. The highway is about to open, the highway near the Gam metro station. Pay special attention to areas with industrial cluster planning. University residential area. Because where people come from, there's real value. The second is industrial real estate. This is the type that's being used both at home and abroad. Keep an eye on. As the global supply chain moves, Vietnam was chosen as the location of the factory, logistics center. And smart investors, not buying industrial stocks. Buying land makes it difficult. Or lease back to FDI enterprises themselves. The third is houses for rent around the industrial park or college. It doesn't need to be too big. A 2-story apartment divided into 7 full cabinet and genius rooms. You've been able to earn steady income from student workers. Expert. Especially in the context of rising inflation and sliding prices. Then the rental cash flow is stable every month. The more valuable. However, real estate investment wealth is not about winning if you have money. One of the most common mistakes is using too many financial sevens when interest rates are high. They also like 7 times 10. But if you borrow 780% of the value of the property, while interest rates are at 10% per year, it only takes the market a few years. You're going to lose money because of the interest burden. Another mistake is investing according to rumors. I heard that an industrial park is about to open. My friends told me to buy this place because a bridge was about to be built, but didn't check the zoning, didn't read the legal documents, not verifying the investor. These people are usually the latter. I knew I was in the middle of the desert. Buy when others are afraid. Keep it when others are suspicious. Sell when others are excited. It means when the market is quiet. You're looking for areas with long-term potential. When the press doesn't report, you're down. When AI also said land is hard to sell now, you keep your faith in the position you've chosen. Of course, it requires you to understand the investment area. Know how to read the plan. Know how to assess infrastructure and migration flows. If you can do that, real estate is not just where the money comes in, but also the machine. Property in a sustainable manner. Don't wait for the soil to heat up. You're just buying someone else's dream at a very expensive price. Stay one step ahead and remember that Real property, especially strategic land, always the best shield before any currency fluctuations, securities, or even AI. Investment number 6. Gold and silver and precious stones. When the financial markets shake, the stocks are on fire. The property is frozen. Professional investors no longer think about profit. They think of shelter. And in the investment world, gold is the safe. It's been tested over thousands of years of history. Empire collapse, currency devaluation. War breaks out, but the gold is still there, sparkles, and retains its purchasing power. You may not like to wear gold, do not understand what is the price of gold SGCPNG or Hami Bulka. But if you've ever seen inflation eat away at cash, you'll understand because so gold is always an old friend. The rich never forget. Let's look back at the crisis phase to number 8. When the Lehman Brothers Bank crashed, investor confidence is shaken, and the world is in a deep recession. Gold prices have almost doubled in just 3 years, from $850 per ounce to over $1,800 per ounce. Then 2010, when COVID-19 shut the world down, broken supply chain, the financial market is chaotic. Gold once again tops near $2,100 per ounce, and become a guardian angel of those who hoard at the right time. So if you want to add gold to your portfolio, where are the right directions? The first is physical gold. This is the traditional form trusted by many Vietnamese. You can buy plain round rings, gold piece, or even gold jewelry. If you accept the cost of fabrication, the advantage is to hold it. It can be used as a gift. But the downside is that it's hard to preserve. Liquidity is sometimes low. They are easily affected by the price difference. The second is ETF Gold, an investment fund that simulates the price of gold. This type is popular in the United States, Europe too, and began to be present in Vietnam. Instead of buying real gold, you invest in SPD or Gold Fund shares. iShares Gold Trust. It's an efficient way to allocate assets, especially for those who are used to investing in stocks. The third is silver and precious stones, although rarely mentioned. But silver is also a highly defensive precious metal, while precious stones like ruby, sapphire, diamonds are the most valuable assets. Is when it comes to art design, reputation certificate, and quantity limit. Don't think that buying gold is impossible. Don't follow the crowd effect to buy gold when everyone is buying gold. There's a joke. Your mom calls to buy gold at 2 p.m. Surely that morning was the best. For sale, because when land news is wide, gold prices have often reflected the worst expectations. If you buy for fear of being late, you can climb when the train is stopping. Many people also make mistakes when there's no steady hoarding strategy. They buy when the price goes up and sell when it goes down. Last hole both ends. While, if you think of gold as long-term financial insurance and regularly extract 10% of income to buy, you don't have to worry about the right time. Gold doesn't get rich fast, but it will help you not to be poor when other assets plummet. It's a shield, not a sword. It's not for all-in shots. It's for sanity when the market is buoyant. And in the current context, as the world enters a cycle of adjustment, after years of pumping money, inflation is still lurking and geopolitical instability, holding a piece of property in gold is not nostalgic. It's wise. If you can't decide what to invest next, then at least let's start by protecting what you already have. Investment number 7. Education and self-skills. If one day everything goes blank, the bank account disappeared, free fall stock. If your property is liquidated, what is left with you? It's not the garage or the stock, it's the skill. Skills cannot be stolen. No evaporation according to inflation. Not taxed property. It's private property, the most honest and powerful you can own. And the great thing is, the more skills you use, the more value you add. The opposite of everything else in the world. In an increasingly volatile world, where technology changes every month, jobs are replaced by AI every day. Learning is no longer an option, it's a survival condition. People who don't update themselves early late will also be gently eliminated by the market, but without pity. The chances are divided in one favor for those who know how to upgrade their intelligence. Easy to understand example. Someone who can take advantage of I can do a lot of work. It used to take 5 people. They don't just save time. You can also do freelance business, better financial management, creating a more diverse source of income. The difference is not in the number of hours worked, it's how they use their mind. In the new picture of the labor market, foreign language skills, especially English or Chinese, it's becoming the key. Open up a global knowledge base. A person who knows English doesn't just learn Harvard and Oxford. You can also work with American clients, building an international YouTube channel, sell products globally. And Chinese. That's the gate into the world's largest consumer market, where you can import, price negotiation, or simply understanding the culture of a superpower. Along with that is technological skills. It doesn't have to be a coder, but if you understand how to use GPT chat to plan, write content, slide design, if you do a report, you've doubled your performance, even be a-fold than others. In a world where tools don't stop being born every day, they know how to use new tools. It's the one who holds the power. In the middle of a forest of investment options, there's a special kind of investment. Invest in financial thinking. No need to study accounting or read financial statements, but you need to know how to manage your personal cash flow, know how to budget for asset allocation. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Because some people make a lot of money, but in the end it's nothing. Not knowing how to use money. And don't forget, your listening skills are soft, but it's as hard on real life as negotiation, team management, leadership, presentation. It's the skills that make people remember you, trust you, and willing to give you a chance to advance. Unfortunately, many people are waiting for their free time to learn, but that free time never comes. Work, lover, family, deadline always. There is something horizontal, and when I look back, they realize they're still standing at the starting line, but others have gone far. Learn a little bit every day. Many people also make mistakes. Learning to be serious. It's a 6-month course. Study for 10 hours a week, and then give up. It only takes 20 minutes every day to read a chapter. Practice some listening and make some slides. Record an idea. You've built a brick firmly in the castle. Skill. The market does not declare it obsolete, but it'll gently take you off the edge. If you stop growing, your greatest value, it's not on the current salary scale, it's what you're learning every day. Investing in education and skills is not a cost. It's a fishing rod that gives you fish for the rest of your life, even when the pond changes. And if you're wondering where to invest, so let's start with something that no one can take from you. Wisdom in your own head. Investment number 8, health and lifestyle. There's a paradox that everyone knows, but very few people actually act. People spend half their lives making money and the other half of my life to save my health. That's what they call the reverse investment cycle. And until I get sick, every number in your bank account, everything becomes meaningless. Health is an asset that if you don't invest early, you will pay many times more later. But different from stocks, gold, or real estate, health has no secondary market. If it is lost, no one can resell it to you. There's no one to replace you at the gym. Eat healthy or get enough sleep. As Steve Jobs once said, no one can hire someone else to go to the gym. The truth is that no one is rich if you don't live long enough to enjoy it. You can be very successful at work. They have a diverse portfolio, working 14 hours a day, But if you forget to sleep, panting as we went up the stairs, eating 7 often, and under constant stress, every property you build is at risk of collapse. In a very quiet way, through every warm pain, each abnormal test, each hospital bill, as long as a restaurant bill, wedding party, health is not a luxury. It starts with small, consistent things. A clean meal, a light workout, enough sleep. Take a walk instead of an elevator. A period of time. Disconnect from social networks to listen. I breathe it all myself. These are the health stocks you've been quietly accumulating every day. And don't think that investing in health is expensive. Some people tend to look clean food as luxury food, gym as far away as HOA, health insurance is a waste. But they don't hesitate to buy spirits. Eat deep-fried food every week, sitting 4 hours in front of a screen without moving. Until I get bad news from the doctor. They've just started emergency trading with time. That's when all kinds of assets, it's all been exchanged for the hope of living a little longer. The unfortunate thing is, we procrastinate on taking care of our bodies. It's like putting off an important call. It's different from email or text. Health no undo button. Take care and take care of yourself. Nutrition. Eat enough green vegetables. Cut down on sugar. Cut down on processed foods. Your body is not a landfill. For every food advertisement, exercise doesn't have to be heavy. Just walk 30 minutes a day has greatly reduced the risk of heart disease and stroke. Get enough quality sleep. It's not the end of the day reward. It's the foundation for you to be productive all day tomorrow. The spirit of investing in inner peace. It could be meditation. Write a diary for a walk in the park. Or simply offline from social media drama. Don't wait until you get sick to buy insurance. Insurance is a property protection tool, not invisible cost. Some people just start to care health when there are symptoms. The pain in the shoulder, the pain in the back, the trouble of sleeping again and again every week is considered a small thing until small things become big bills. We also fall into the trap of being too busy. Too much pressure to eat and stay up late. They're all excuses, persuasive for an increasingly exhausted body. But remember that money can be profitable. But health can only be maintained. And to stay that way, you have to invest actively. Persistence, not in periods of rapid weight loss. The 21-day challenge, it's about living every day. You don't have to start with something big. A glass of warm water in the morning, a colorful meal, a 5-second deep breath. Get out of your chair for an hour, no online. That's compound interest for a long life. And healthy. In all the assets you're accumulating, health is the foundation. If it collapses, there's no stock holding the price. There's no contract that brings peace. There's no record of value. And if you really want to enjoy it from all other investments, make sure your body is strong enough to step up to the podium for the prize. So you've just gone through 8 investments. Each of these offers not only growth opportunities, it's also a shield that protects property before a wave of drastic change is approaching. Period from 202 years to 2026. It's not a fanciful prediction, it's a cycle, considered by many veteran investors to be a turning point of all 10 centuries. The most important thing in investing, it's not how much capital you have, it's about getting your money down at the right time. Dare to walk early. Usually the best part. Waiting for the market to stabilize, often just in time to buy back the dream that has passed through the hands of others. Warren Buffett once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Be careful when the crowd is greedy. Be brave when the crowd is panicking." The important question is not, how much should you invest? It's about being fast enough to act before it's too late. Because by the year 2016 you will be a person who smiles because he saw the opportunity early on, or a person sitting regretfully looking back with the words price. If you've heard of this, maybe you are also rising. desire for real change. Please share in the comments. What is the investment you are considering during this period? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel because only those who go before I saw the first light. Opportunity is not waiting forever, but it always welcomes those who dare to go early.